With the month of June here, that means a bevy of new Nintendo Switch game releases, and there's quite a few good ones in June. A lot of existing franchises making their appearance known on the Switch. A lot of great games coming, so want to highlight the top 5 games. So without further ado, let's get right into it, and I want to kick things off with a fantastic JRPG finally coming to the Switch, and that is the Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 3. Now, it's a little bit of a bummer given the fact that Trails of Cold Steel 1 and 2 are not on the Switch. Those games are published by Xseed. This one is published by NIS America, so it's a little bit of muddied water. Hopefully Xseed sooner or later decides to port these games to the Switch, because Trails of Cold Steel 3, while it does feature a recap video of Trails of Cold Steel 1 and 2, and of course there are a lot of compilations online, you can look up the story, it's not that hard, and Cold Steel 3 kind of does act as like the midway point of the Cold Steel series. It's kind of the start of something new. However, you still should play Cold Steel 1 and 2, or at the very least you should be familiarized with the Cold Steel 1 and 2 story. And the thing is, the Legend of Heroes story extends far beyond just Cold Steel. There are a lot of other games that are present, and that's why this franchise of JRPGs has some of the best character development and world building that you're gonna find in a JRPG. Sometimes it's a little bit slow, especially in Cold Steel 1. The game was a little bit slow, but it was a lot of setting the table and make you emotionally attached to the characters, and they did a really good job of that. The gameplay is great, the visuals are pretty good, and the music is also excellent, but really the standout of Trails of Cold Steel is from a story and character standpoint. It is top-notch and some of the best I've seen out of a JRPG. This one drops June 30th, and I definitely have it on your radar. Alright, next up, another RPG, but of a different kind, The Outer Worlds. This has been out on PS4, Xbox One, and PC for a little bit, but now it makes the transition to Nintendo Switch. Good on them for actually finding a way to port this to the Switch. It's not like Outer Worlds is the most graphically intensive game in the world, but it's still pretty high-end, especially to see a quality Switch release. This is a game done by Obsidian. Obsidian is a phenomenal studio, and they work on some really good games. They've done Fallout New Vegas, Pillars of Eternity, and just some really, really good titles. The Outer Worlds was a very good game, and what I really enjoyed about this one, yes, it's an open world RPG, however, it's not like a lot of open world RPGs where it's egregiously long. Maybe that's a harsh word to say, but some of these open world RPGs are just getting so long, so content filled, that if you want to do everything, it's going to take you a very, very long time. The Outer Worlds is more of a concise experience that's still going to take you, 30 to 40 hours, and there's a lot of replayability, but you can get in and get out relatively quickly in comparison to a lot of other open world RPGs. Those games that are, north of 70 to 100 hours definitely have a place on the market, but it's okay with a little bit of diversity, and having a game that's a little bit shorter, and Outer Worlds really offers you that. It was a great game on all other platforms. Hopefully the Switch version holds up just as well, and this one is out very soon on June 5th. Alright, next up we have Warborn. This is a game that is a strategy mecha title, and we don't see a lot of great mecha games. I know Daemon Ex Machina came out, and that was pretty good, but here's another one in Warborn. Deploy for battle in the variable armor, a technology advanced suit of war. With turn-based tactics and quick-fire clashes, lead a strike force of deadly mecha to bring peace to the solar system in a 40-mission campaign. Create your own maps, practice in skirmish, or battle across multiplayer. So yes, this game has quite a bit of depth to it. There's a campaign, there's multiplayer, and then you can create your own maps as well, so that's great. With a map editor, if you're feeling creative, make your own custom maps using the built-in map editor. Take your custom maps into skirmish mode to try against the computer or play them online with friends, and then there is skirmish and multiplayer, and then there's a campaign as well. So a lot of variety in terms of the gameplay options, and Warborn will be out on June 12th. This is a game that's going a little bit under the radar, but definitely one I'm looking forward to. Alright, next up, I've kind of talked a little bit harshly about this game's price, but as far as the game itself, fundamentally, I am excited to see this game on the Switch, and that is Burnout Paradise. Burnout Paradise is a game that came out back in January of 2008, and it was a fantastic game back then. I bought it right when it came out and had a great time with it. Burnout Paradise Remastered came out on the PS4, X1, and PC. That was really good, and now we're getting the game on the Switch. Burnout Paradise is an awesome arcade racer. You've got crazy crashes, awesome music. I have to say, it has some great music. Maybe not everyone's cup of tea, but you've got songs like This Is My Curse from Kill Switch Engage. You got a song by the guys that actually did the Dragon's Dogma opening theme. I know some weird facts about music selection in video games, but nonetheless, Burnout Paradise has a great music selection. A lot of content in this one as well, and the game itself is just really, really good. Now, the $50 price point, that is not really, really good. I could do without $50 for a game that is essentially 12 years old, and, the remaster isn't crazy refinements or anything like that. The game itself is really good, although I would wait for a discount, maybe when it's south of $30 at $25 or so. That is the bare minimum price I would pay, and honestly speaking, the PS4 version goes for like $5 to $10 at times, so maybe you want to wait for an even deeper discount. However, the game itself is really good. And lastly, I want to give a shout to Spongebob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. This is one of the better Spongebob games, probably the best Spongebob game that was ever released. I mean, there haven't been a lot of great ones, but now it's coming back remade from the ground up on the Nintendo Switch, and it's going to be on other platforms as well, but this one is looking really good. It's a faithful remake of one of the best SpongeBob games ever created. High-end visuals, modern resolutions, and carefully polished gameplay. Brand new Horde multiplayer mode for up to 2 players, online and offline. Restored content that was cut from the original game, like the Robo Squidward boss fight, and more. It's looking great. The visuals look excellent. Are you ready, kids? The cult classic is back, faithfully remade in Sponge-tastic splendor. Play a SpongeBob, Patrick, and Sandy, and show the evil plankton that crime pays even less than Mr. Krabs. I'm very nostalgic when it comes to SpongeBob, and SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom will be out on June 23rd. And that's going to conclude this video. Again, quite a few compelling Switch game releases coming out this month. I think Trails of Cold Steel 3 is definitely a standout to me, but Outer Worlds, Burnout Paradise, Warborn, and SpongeBob round up a really, really solid lineup of new games in June. Obviously, there's other games coming, but I wanted to highlight these 5 that are the major releases this month. That's going to conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.